Y'all, I batch filmed a ton of videos yesterday, and I'm trying to figure out how many of those I can actually salvage. Oh, hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Shalise. I'm a young woman. I like to still think of myself as young. I am a woman that likes to share my journey so that I can hopefully help other ladies out there. If I'm not being helpful or encouraging or building someone up, then this platform is kind of pointless. And so I actually asked that if this video was helpful for you, that you would leave it in the comment section down below. It has been a very full cup of coffee day. I actually filmed a lot of things yesterday, and the videos I made yesterday, I don't know how many of them I'll actually be able to use in a sense of our homeschool, because I filmed those and I'm like, you know, I'm actually going back and doing the exact same thing that I'm trying to step away from. In thinking about that and thinking about other things, this video was kind of born from that. In the last couple of days, I have really had to consider how we are going to homeschool this year. Okay, I actually edited about 5 minutes of rambling, but the gist is that we decided to go forward with teaching textbooks, which is about a $200 program online, and I needed to figure out a way to come up with the money, so I just used what I had, which was books, and then the second half of this video basically was born. Here I am trying to figure out what we have. What I have at my fingertips is this library I have built up for my children, and it's like, okay, we'll sell these and we'll come up with them like cash with this. And I legitimately had no idea how hard this was going to be emotionally, and working with the videos I made yesterday and thinking about it today and thinking about this journey in minimalism, which I am moving in that direction that is good and moving in the right direction basically. So why is this hard? I don't have sentimental values that I hold on to, that I pick up a picture and think of the first time they drew. I don't think that. It's not me. But I think of time lost. I think that is probably my emotional trigger. I won't get to read all of the books that I have collected with my children. I won't get to. There is just legitimately not enough hours. And I think it was a real eye-opening I had all these books that I wanted to read, and we did really good with our read-alouds, but that stack was so minor compared to the stack that I had collected to continue reading. And then this book came into my life. That is the book Essentialism. Essentialism is saying no so that you can say your better yes. That's it in a nutshell. It's not knowledge is power, it's actually applied knowledge is power. As my friend told me, which she was quoting Rachel Hollis, I believe. So I'm looking at these bookshelves, especially the table that I have out in my homeschool room right now is just stacked high with books. Looking at my bookshelf here, again, it's collected of books, and then I have 2 apple boxes that are literally 10 feet away from me, filled with books. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, this doesn't even cover the books that my kids pick up all the time and read and love. Those are in their rooms. So why am I trying to hold on to this? These are children's books. Like, these aren't just my books, the ones that I like to read and do and things, but they're books that I have collected and I want to read to my children. Not just give to them to read. They have plenty of choices for that. These are books that I want to read to them so that I can have the experience of reading them too. And I briefly touched on this in the last video, but if there is a possibility of my husband and I going and being missionaries, and the other possibility that is actually even higher than being a missionary. That we're going to have to move in 3 years. I'm going to have to box all this up again. Like, that realization was incredibly difficult. I pretty much wanted to sit down and weep at that point. It wasn't packing up the kitchen. It wasn't packing up the linen closet. It wasn't packing up our clothes. It was everything that I kept thinking about and wanted to weep was the thought of having to pack up the books again. That, to me, was kind of, whoa. And that sounded just like my mom there. So here I am collecting these books so that I can pay for what we need to do in our next homeschool year. And I'm like trying not to cry. It's been a very hard week, y'all. Actually, it's been a very hard couple of weeks. Very hard. So I don't remember where I was. Interruptions. It's my life. Let's kind of go as to why I'm making this video, which is people that have a love of books. I have to wonder what it is. Those that have a ton of books, I know that many of them, they haven't read them all. They're just this desire to do so. And one of the ladies that I follow that I think really helps me put minimalism in a practical point of view, that is like her talent is to be able to put it in a practical point of view. I'm more of a chit-chatty person and I talk it all out and work it all out and you all get to be a part of it. But her thing is that books should be like a good friend, passed on and shared and not just collecting dust. I like that idea, but I also know that financially I can't always replace these books. However, I keep financially being able to collect other ones. So that was one thing that I was working on in my head. Another thing was like this emotional journey of why I was so emotional about getting rid of these books. They were good books. I really liked them. I really enjoyed them. So why am I really struggling right now? I was struggling because of what I said earlier, the time lost in being able to read them to my children. My daughter is going to be 13 this year. Like, that's really hard for me to process right now. And she's reading a lot of the books that I really enjoyed growing up reading. She's reading the Gene Stratton Porter. She's reading L.M. Montgomery. She is reading Louisa May Alcott, which is also L.M. Interesting. And she's reading all of these and really enjoying them. My boys are probably not going to want to read any kind of books. They're going to want to do. Okay, interruption number 14,300,749. Hashtag mom life. Okay, so where was I? I don't remember. So what is this going to look like moving forward? I think that's one reason why I still try to make these videos, because it's not just about me right now and wanting to share my story and make this all about me. It's not just that, it's that I know that there is a need out there for that, because it took me a long time to find the videos that really helped me in this journey. And that's why I'm making these videos. So this is more for the ones that are like me and we love books and we love the idea of learning. I think that's where I was. I think I was talking about my boys and how they're probably not going to be the readers that my daughter and I are. If they're like their dad, they're going to be more doing, not sitting and reading. And my youngest daughter is 6. And there's going to be a long time before she is ready to share these experiences with me. When I think about that, suddenly there is not so much of a hold on what I have collected. The world is so crazy right now with this coronavirus, and so many things are just showing up, and I like to use books to illustrate ideas, as Charlotte Mason says. I think that was actually very well put in how she explains living ideas. And there's a lot of things going on in this world, not just with coronavirus, but classes and constitutional freedom and honor, hard work ethics. So many things that can be illustrated in books, and I just want to teach all of them by reading a book. But I need to let go of that idea, because I think as much as I push conversations, sometimes even conversations aren't enough, as in sit down and have a talk. But those everyday moments that come up and give opportunities to have discussions, I think those moments are kind of what I need to start keeping in my mind. Books have been such a huge part of my life. There's a lot of times when I'll be in a situation and I think about a certain book. One illustration lately was how we were talking about children today and how they just need to be children. And one of the books that has always stuck with me, like Roses for Mama by Jeanette Oak. It's a beautiful book. I don't remember much about it other than I really like how beautiful it is. But what I do remember is actually this conversation between the brother and the sister who are taking care of the whole family. So it's two elderly taking care of, I think there are 3 younger siblings because their parents have died. This is, back then they're working hard, and then the sister is just sitting and she's like, our siblings really don't have a childhood. Like, we got to do this and we got to do that, but because mom and dad have died, they need to step up with the chores and we're having to step up. She's like, I just want them to have a childhood. And the brother says, yes, we want them to be children, but we want them to be responsible children. And in talking with my friend the other day about children, like, that conversation came in my head. And there's been many similar instances where life comes up, and I keep thinking of passages in books that just illustrated it so beautifully. But there is only one book. There's only one book in the entire world that has perfection in it. Only one. Talk about minimalism. I won't ever get down to that one book. I won't say never. God always laughs. But if I'm relying on that rather than my living books, that's the lesson that finally clicked in my head. And it's been an emotional journey. It really has. And I'm nowhere near where I should be in this. I have a long way to go. A long way. And it'll be interesting to see what the next year is going to look like. Not just from a homeschool point of view, not just from a minimalism point of view. It's so funny, I hate labeling things. Labels explain things. So if I say minimalism or minimalist, it's an explanation, something that is tangible for somebody to understand. Anyway, so that's this chit chat video. I'd be curious to see who else has been in a similar boat, a similar situation, and what their story is. So if you have one of the stories, I encourage you to leave it down below. I do read your comments. I don't always get to them. YouTube has been a little weird with comments lately. Like, I have to go and search for comments. I don't get notifications anymore about them, which is different. It's very odd. But anyway, I hope this video is good for somebody out there, even just one. If it helps just one person, then it was worth it. But thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. I had a friend who once told me, what about the books you reread? Like, how often do you get to do that? And it was a really good, something that, again, I have taken with me because, I actually don't reread because I keep thinking of all the books that I want to read. She had such a good point. And so now I try to be selective with the books that I have and think about the ones that I really just want to keep around so that I can reread and enjoy that friend coming over for dinner again. Thinking that maybe like someone's like out on their treadmill, like really working out this frustration of books.